They say when you bury a child, you bury a piece of your soul with them. I know this is true because 7 years ago, I stood beside a hole in the ground and felt something inside me die as they lowered my daughter into the earth. Her name was Emma. And for 11 years, she was pure grace wrapped in joy and wild laughter. A child who danced instead of walked, who sang instead of talked, who made the world brighter just by existing in it. But last month, at 2:47 in the morning, my phone rang. And when I looked at the screen, I saw her name. Her face. Her number that had been dead for 7 years. I answered. And I heard my daughter's voice asking me a question that shattered everything I thought I knew about life and death. Mom, where am I? If your heart is already racing, stay with me. Because what I'm about to tell you is true. Every word. Every impossible, terrifying, miraculous word. Before I go further, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? And hit that subscribe button, because this story needs to reach everyone who's ever lost someone they love. November 3rd, 2019. The day the world ended. Emma was 11 years old. 5th grade. She had her father's eyes and my stubborn spirit. She wore her hair in 2 braids with butterfly clips she loved. She loved drawing, hated math, and could make friends with anyone. That Friday, she stayed late at school for art club. She was working on a painting of our family, me, her father Michael, her little brother Tyler. She wanted to surprise us with it for Christmas. She was walking home, 3 blocks from our house. 3 blocks. That's how close she was to safety when a car ran a red light doing 60 miles an hour and hit her. The impact killed her instantly. That's what the police officer told me when he called at 11:43 p.m. There's been an accident. You need to come to County General Hospital immediately. 6 words that parents pray they'll never hear. I knew before he finished the sentence. Mothers know. We feel it in our bones. I dropped the phone. I grabbed my keys. I drove 90 miles an hour through red lights, thinking if I could just get there fast enough, somehow I could will her back to life. When I arrived, they took me to a private room. That's how I knew for certain. Hospitals only use private rooms for the worst news. They let me see her. She was on a table in a cold room that smelled like antiseptic and death. Her face was untouched, peaceful. Her braids still perfect, the butterfly clips still fastened at the ends. I held her hand. It was still warm. That's what broke me. The warmth made me believe for those few minutes that this was a mistake, that she would open her eyes and say Mom and laugh. But her chest didn't move. Her eyes didn't open. I stood there for 2 hours waiting for a miracle that never came. Michael arrived and the sound he made when he saw her will haunt me until I die. Security had to restrain him. They had to sedate him. He couldn't function. So I did it all. Alone. I picked the white coffin. I chose the plot at Riverside Cemetery under an oak tree. I wrote the obituary through tears. I selected sunflowers, her favorite. I did everything while moving through a fog so thick I couldn't see my own hands. The funeral was on a Tuesday. When they lowered her into the earth, I heard the machinery. I heard the coffin settle. People threw flowers onto the lid. Michael threw a letter. I threw nothing. I just stood there, frozen, watching my baby disappear into darkness. After everyone left, I stayed. I watched the workers fill the grave, shovel by shovel, until all that remained was a mound of fresh dirt. Only then did I walk away. If you've buried someone you love, comment Emma below. Because grief shared is grief softened, even if just for a moment. 7 years. That's how long I've lived in the shadow of that day. I visited her grave every Sunday. Rain, snow, heat, it didn't matter. I brought fresh sunflowers. I talked to her. I told her about my week, about Tyler growing up, about the world continuing without her in it. Michael stopped coming after the first year. He said it hurt too much. We divorced 2 years after we buried her. Grief is a poison that kills everything. Love, marriage, hope. He remarried. He had another daughter. He built a new life. I couldn't. I kept Emma's room exactly as she left it. Her clothes still hung in her closet. Her stuffed animals lined her bed. Her phone number stayed in my contacts. I paid the bill every month, $30 to keep her name alive in my phone, even though the number had been disconnected. People said I needed therapy. People said I needed to let go. I stopped listening. You don't get over losing a child. You just learn to walk carefully around the hole they leave in your life. You learn to function. You wake up. You go to work. You smile when people ask how you're doing. You lie and say you're fine. But you're never fine. I watched Emma's friends grow up. Graduate. Get driver's licenses. Go to prom. My daughter stayed 11 forever. Frozen in time. A girl who never got to become a teenager. I accepted it. What choice did I have? Dead is final. Dead is permanent. Until it isn't. Last month. February 14th, Valentine's Day. I was asleep when my phone rang at 2:47 in the morning. The sound cut through the darkness like a knife. I grabbed my phone, squinting at the screen. Emma, my baby girl, red heart hash. Her name. Her contact photo. Her face covered in birthday cake frosting, laughing. Her number that had been disconnected for 7 years. Calling me. My brain couldn't process what I was seeing. This wasn't possible. I had tried calling this number hundreds of times over the years. It always went to the same recording. The number you have dialed is no longer in service. But it was ringing. My hands started shaking. The room felt freezing. My chest tightened. The phone kept ringing. 4 rings. 5. 6. On the 7th ring, my thumb moved on its own. I pressed the green button. Silence. Just dead air and my own ragged breathing. Then, breathing. Not mine. Someone else's. Slow and steady. Human. Real. My throat closed. I tried to speak but no sound came out. Then a voice. Quiet. Confused. Scared. Mom. One word. But it was her voice. I would know that voice anywhere. I heard it every day for 11 years. I heard it in my dreams for 7 years after. This wasn't a recording. This was real. Tears spilled down my face. I still couldn't speak. Mom, are you there? Her voice cracked. Desperate. Lost. I forced words past the knot in my throat. Emma, I whispered. Silence stretched between us like an ocean. Then, yeah, it's me. Mom, where am I? The question didn't make sense. What do you mean? I managed. Where are you calling from? I heard her breathing faster. Panicked. I don't know, she said. I don't know where I am. Nothing makes sense. Mom, something's wrong. Everything feels wrong. I was on my feet, turning on lights, pacing, my brain screaming. Emma, baby, what's going on? She made a sound like a sob. I don't know. I remember the accident. I remember the car. I remember the impact. I remember. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I remember dying, Mom. I felt it. I felt myself die. My legs gave out. I sat down hard, my whole body trembling. But then I woke up, she continued, words tumbling over each other. And everything was different. I look different. I feel different. I'm in some place I don't recognize. People walk right past me like I'm not even here. I found a phone. Your number was the only one I could remember. If you're gripping your phone right now, if your heart is pounding, comment impossible. Because that's what I thought too. Are you hurt? I asked. No, she said. But I'm scared, Mom. I'm so scared. Can you please come get me? Please. Her voice broke on that last word. She sounded like my little girl again. Tell me where you are, I said, already grabbing my keys. Give me an address. Anything. I'll come right now. I don't know the address, she said. I'm in a building. It's dark. There are apartments. Let me try to find something with an address. I heard movement through the phone. Footsteps. A door opening. Then the line went dead. I stared at my phone. The call timer showed 9 minutes and 43 seconds. Proof. This had happened. I immediately called back. The number you have dialed is no longer in service. I tried 15 more times. Same message. My dead daughter had just called me asking for help. And then she vanished. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on my bed replaying every word, every sound. By sunrise, I had convinced myself I was losing my mind. Maybe grief had finally broken something in my brain. But then, 4 days later at 3:15 in the morning, my phone rang again. Her number. I answered on the first ring. Emma. Heavy breathing. Background noise. Muffled. Distant. Baby, it's Mom. I'm here. Talk to me. I don't know what's happening. Her voice was weaker now. More confused. There are people here. They keep calling me by a different name. What name? Grace. They say my name is Grace. But that's not right. Is it? Mom, is my name Grace? My mind was spinning. No, baby. Your name is Emma. Emma Catherine Parker. You're my daughter. You're 11 years old. You love drawing. You were working on a painting for Christmas. Do you remember? Long, painful silence. I can't remember. She was crying now. Full sobs. Why can't I remember anything? It's okay. Just tell me what you see. Anything. I don't. It's dark. There are lights. I hear. She paused. In the background, clear and unmistakable, I heard it. A train horn. Long and low and mournful. Emma, that sound, the train. How often does it come? Every few minutes, I think. Mom, I have to go. Someone's. Click. Gone again. If you believe a mother deserves answers, hit that subscribe button. Because I was about to tear this city apart to find them. I grabbed my laptop and started searching. Train lines. Residential areas near train tracks. Every rehabilitation center. Every care facility within 50 miles. By noon, I had 23 addresses. By sunset, I had visited 8. The first 7 were dead ends. But the 8th place was different. A private care facility surrounded by high walls and security cameras. The kind of place where people go when they don't want questions asked. The receptionist was young. When I said my daughter's name, something flickered across her face. Recognition. Then fear. I'm sorry. We don't have anyone here by that name. What about Grace? I leaned across the desk. Someone with memory problems? Light brown hair, about 18 now. The flicker again. A glance toward the security camera. I really can't. Please. My voice broke. I buried my daughter 7 years ago. But she's been calling me. She's scared and confused. If there's even a chance she's here, I need to know. The girl looked at me for a long moment. Then she pulled out a notepad and wrote quickly. Ward B, room 7. Come back at 8 p.m. Side entrance. I'll leave it unlocked. Comment justice, if you believe the truth should never be hidden. I came back at 8 o'clock, my heart hammering. The side entrance was unlocked. The same girl was waiting. 10 minutes, she whispered. Ward B, room 7. If anyone asks, you were never here. Why are you helping me? She looked at me with eyes too old for her face. Because I have a little sister. And if someone had her, I'd want someone to help me. Ward B was in the basement. Long hallway. Fluorescent lights buzzing. The smell of antiseptic and sadness. Room 7. I stood outside, terrified of what I would find. I pushed the door open. The room was small. A single bed. A woman sitting by the window, staring out at darkness. Her back was to me. Grace. I said softly. She turned around. And I saw my daughter's face. Older. Thinner. Changed by years I hadn't witnessed. But hers. Her eyes. Her nose. The small scar on her chin from when she was 3. My baby. My Emma. Hello, she said. Polite but confused. Do I know you? I couldn't speak. I walked toward her slowly. I don't know. I managed. Do you remember anything from before? She frowned, touching her temple. They say I had an accident, that I lost my memory. But sometimes. She trailed off. Sometimes what? Sometimes I dream about things. A woman who looks like you. A house with yellow walls. A little boy. Sunflowers. Her eyes filled with tears. And I dream about dying. Over and over. About a car and an impact and everything going dark. But they say it's not real. I was crying now. What else do you dream about? I whispered. A painting, she said. I'm painting something. Faces. People I love. But I can never finish it. And sunflowers. Eating them. She laughed, confused. That's weird, right? Sunflower seeds, I said, my voice shaking. You used to eat them all the time. You'd crack them with your teeth. It drove your father crazy. She stared at me. How do you know that? I wanted to scream, because I'm your mother, but I saw the fragility in her eyes. The confusion. The fear. Telling her everything right now might shatter her. So I made a choice. The hardest choice of my life. I'm a volunteer, I said, the lie burning my throat. I work with people who have memory issues. Would you like to talk about your dreams? Maybe we can piece things together. She nodded eagerly. Yes, please. I feel so lost. Then I'll come back, I said. Tomorrow. And the day after. Until we figure this out together. For 2 weeks, I visited her every day. I forged credentials. I lied. And I sat with my daughter, who didn't know she was my daughter, and listened to her dreams. Each session, more memories surfaced. A Christmas tree. A boy who stole cookies. The smell of my perfume. The sound of my laugh. But she remembered them like distant echoes. Like stories about a girl who used to exist. And I played along. I asked gentle questions. I brought her sunflower seeds and watched her eat them unconsciously. Muscle memory still alive. But I was also investigating. I hired a lawyer. I tracked down hospital records. I talked to EMTs. I pulled every string. And what I found made me sick. The night Emma died, the night they told me she was dead, there had been another accident. Another girl. 18 years old. Daughter of Senator Richard Blackwell. The Blackwell family owned half the hospitals in the state. Their daughter had been driving drunk. She hit a tree. She died instantly. And someone made a decision. Emma had been in critical condition. Brain injury. Coma. 30% chance of survival. But the Blackwell girl was dead. So they switched them. They declared Emma, a poor kid with no connections, dead. They gave the Blackwells a closed casket funeral. And they took my daughter, unconscious and unnamed, and hid her away. When she woke months later with no memory, they gave her a new identity. Grace Wilson. An amnesia patient with no past. The Blackwells paid for everything. The cover-up. The silence. My daughter lived for 7 years as a ghost while I buried someone else's child. Comment corruption if this makes your blood boil. Because mine was on fire. The lawyer said we had a case. DNA evidence. Medical records. Witnesses. But he warned me, the Blackwells will fight this. They'll destroy you. They'll claim you're delusional. Are you prepared? I looked at him. I already buried my daughter once. I'm not afraid of them. We filed the lawsuit. We went to the press. We demanded a criminal investigation. The Blackwells came after me with everything. They tried to have me committed. They painted me as unstable. They had doctors testify that I was seeing what I wanted to see. But they couldn't explain the phone calls. The recordings. Emma's voice asking for help. The trial lasted 6 months. 6 months of hell. But the truth is persistent. It doesn't stay buried forever. The DNA was irrefutable. Emma Catherine Parker and Grace Wilson were the same person. The medical records told the whole story. The young receptionist testified about the facility's policies, about patients hidden from the system. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. Guilty. On all counts. Senator Blackwell resigned. 3 hospital administrators went to prison. The facility was shut down. And my daughter was finally, legally, officially declared alive. But miracles are complicated. Emma came home. But she wasn't the 11-year-old I'd lost. She was 18. 7 years had passed. 7 years of memories stolen. She had gaps. She remembered fragments but not wholes. She knew my face but not our history. We had to start over. Mother and daughter, meeting for the first time. It was painful. Awkward. Strange. There were days she looked at me like I was a stranger. But there were also moments of grace. 6 months after she came home, we were sitting on the porch eating sunflower seeds. She was cracking them with her teeth, spitting the shells into a cup. Suddenly she stopped. She looked at the cup. Then at me. Dad used to hate when I did this, she said. My heart stopped. What? Dad. Michael. He used to say it was gross. She looked confused. I remember that. Why do I remember that? I was crying. Because it's real, baby. It happened. You're remembering. She stared at me, tears filling her eyes. Mom. Yes, sweetheart. I think I'm starting to remember who I am. It's been a year now. Emma lives with me. She's in therapy. She's taking classes online. Tyler visits every weekend, rebuilding their relationship. Michael comes by sometimes. It's hard for him. He mourned her. He moved on. And now she's back, but different. But we're trying. We're piecing together a family from broken parts. Sometimes, late at night, Emma will come into my room and curl up next to me like she used to when she had nightmares. Tell me a story, she'll say. Tell me about Emma. The one before. And I'll tell her about the girl who loved drawing. Who hated math. Who made friends with everyone. Who was working on a painting she never got to finish. And slowly, piece by piece, memory by memory, my daughter is coming back to me. They say you can't bring someone back from the dead. Maybe that's true. Maybe the Emma I lost is gone forever. Frozen at 11 years old in my memories. But this Emma, this 18-year-old woman who survived something no child should survive, who lost 7 years to corruption, who found her way back to me through impossible phone calls, she's here. She's alive. She's mine. And that's its own kind of miracle. So let me ask you this. If you were in my shoes, if you got that impossible phone call, if you found your child alive but broken, would you tell them everything immediately, even if it might shatter them? Or would you rebuild their world piece by piece, carrying the weight of truth alone? There's no right answer. There's only love, wearing different faces. If this story moved you, subscribe to this channel. Share this with someone who needs to know that impossible things sometimes happen. That mothers don't give up. That love is stronger than death, stronger than corruption, stronger than silence. Hit that like button. Comment your answer below. And may you never have to bury anyone twice. Thank you for listening. Thank you for believing.